Hey guys, in this video I want to talk about freedom and the pros and cons of being self-employed. Now, from the outside looking in, it looks like it's all glamorous. You're your own boss, you wake up when you want, you work when you want. People like me and Bali, you can go to the beach and just chill out and just have a really good time all the time. Everything's amazing, there's no drawbacks. That's what appears on the surface and on Instagram and Facebook. I'm sure that's all you see from self-employed people, but in reality there's trade-offs that are made and there is a lot of discipline needed in order to make success of it. So just a brief overview of my background. I did online poker for 6 years, made a decent amount of money, and now I'm going into performance coaching where I work with poker players and entrepreneurs to help them goal set, stay motivated, and to get the best out of themselves. So the problems I'm seeing with working with clients is that a lot of them, they were drawn to online poker or entrepreneurial adventures because they love freedom, they don't like structure. However, that creates a whole world of its own problems. So when you have no structure to your day, you are constantly in a distracted state. So you might wake up in the morning, you might wake up late, 11 o'clock, because there's no boss to tell you to get up. You're your own boss, and you've got to decide if you want to get out of bed or not, which can, again, be a problem. And then you've got to structure your own day to get the most out of yourself. Now, if you don't have any structure in place, your whole day is a constant state of distraction, a constant state of trying to get stuff done. Everyone wakes up with good intentions, wanting to do more, but a lot of time, if there's no structure in place and no one telling you what to do, you've then got to use discipline and your own sort of willpower to get stuff done. So for me, I created a lot of structure. I know when I go to bed, I know when I wake up, and I have a set working day of 8 to 10 hours, and then I have a set free time, which I stick to religiously. A lot of online poker players and a lot of entrepreneurs don't have this structure, and it creates incredible amounts of inner turmoil, incredible amounts of distraction. So you might spend 10 to 12 hours working, but you're constantly distracted, constantly on social media, constantly researching for your next thing, that you might only get 2 or 3 hours of real work done, and your whole day is spent trying to do work, but not actually achieving it. So the pros of not having a boss are counterbalanced with the negative of you are your own boss, and if you're not strict with yourself, and you don't create that discipline, your life is going to be dragged all over the place. There's always something more fun going on. There's always social media that's drawing you that way. And when there's no structure in place of a boss or a work environment or a place you need to be at a certain time, it can create a lot of stress for a lot of people. Also, income is a very variable thing for a lot of self-employed people. You don't have that regular paycheck that comes in from your employer, so you need to always be creating value in your environment. When I was playing online poker, that involved putting a lot of hours in and actually beating the games I was playing and constantly staying on top of that. Now I'm doing performance coaching, I constantly need to provide value for my clients, and it's very variable from month to month. So people who like sort of structure, security, they like to know how much they're going to earn so they know how much they can spend. It can be very difficult to balance the uncertainty of what you're going to get each month. That's something that I think a lot of people who are drawn to self-employed fields kind of neglect. They think they'll be fine, but sometimes you can go long periods of time with no money, and you need to learn how to deal with that psychologically more than anything, and how to budget and how to deal with insecurity of cash flow. On top of not having the security of a paycheck, you also need to constantly be providing value. If you have an off month in your job, you're still going to get paid, most likely, unless it's all commission based, but most likely you're going to get a paycheck. If you had an off month on your self-employed, you don't get paid. If you didn't get any clients or get anyone on board, you don't get paid. If I didn't make any money playing poker, no one's going to come and save me and go, there's a magic paycheck. So there's constant having to show value, having to put in work in order to get cash flow coming in. And this can be very stressful. It stops people from being able to take time off. A lot of self-employed people will go, oh, I want to be self-employed so I don't have to work in 9 to 5. If you have that approach, what normally happens is you leave your 9 to 5 to be self-employed and you end up working a 9 to 9. Because all of a sudden you've got all these stresses, oh shit, I need to make money. Shit, there's no paycheck coming in. Or there's no end point. I'm working for myself, I might as well work longer. And this, over time, creates a very overworked, stressed out, distracted state where you're trying to do too many hours and fit too many things in, and the dream of being self-employed has just crashed in this distracted, trying to stay afloat phase. So I thought I'd give you guys a more balanced view of what it's like to be self-employed. Yes, it comes with a lot of perks, like being able to wake up when you want, be your own boss, have your own work schedule, live in places like Bali like I do currently, but it does come with a lot of stresses and a lot of problems that you need to solve. Things don't just solve themselves. All of a sudden, the buck stops with you every time. There's no assistant, there's no boss to tell you what needs to be done. You need to figure out all the problems. And some of the problems are real, like making ends meet with cash flow. Other times, actually getting business for yourself and actually creating value in your environment. And this might seem like good problems, but I know it can be crippling for a lot of self-employed people or people who think they're going into self-employed because it's all glamorous, and in reality it's a lot of hard work. So make sure if you're thinking about quitting your job and going into a self-employed field that it does have drawbacks. One, you do need to have income, you do need to create value in your environment, so I'd trial out a phase of trying to make money with a side project and see if you can actually have income coming in, and then see if that would be scalable remotely. And also be aware that freedom in your day can actually be detrimental, and it can stop you getting stuff done. So it is actually beneficial to create set structures, to have a set sleeping pattern, to have a set working schedule, and to have set free time. And then things aren't so blurry. It's always tempting to work more. It's always tempting to sleep in longer and start later. But you've got to, if you want to make a success being self-employed, in my opinion, you've got to be very disciplined, especially starting out, because you want to form these good habits. You've got to work hard. You've got to get past all these obstacles of distractions and how to best use your time. Because when you're self-employed, all of a sudden there's not a task list. The task list is of 100 tasks. You've got to prioritize what's important, and the task list never ends because there's so many jobs to do because you're doing everything. So this is the things I want you guys to consider if you are thinking of quitting your job and going self-employed. And if you are self-employed trying to figure it out, try structure, try sticking to a routine of working, maybe 8 hours a day, free time is the rest of the day, and sleep at the same time, wake up, get up at the same time. So alongside working hard, having discipline and structure are key to being a successful entrepreneur or self-employed individual.